Here we go.
Welcome back to another episode of the Merge Feast. Blake here, back with Logan and Brandon. What's up, you two?
Hello, hello.
So, villains, Survivor villains. It's one of the things I said I wanted to see in season 49. And one thing that Jeff has talked about, how they are not looking to cast that villain archetype. So, thought it might be fun to go back and kind of do a little like top 5 villains to ever play Survivor. So I know each of us have kind of come up with some names, and kind of how we did it a couple weeks ago, were most memorable cast members, and just we'll narrow it down from 9 or 10 down to 5, and see if we can come up with a good list. You guys down?
I like it.
I'm down. I came to play.
All right. So before we get into this, I think we should probably define what that villain role looks like. Because is it people that are just like kind of hated? Like we just don't like them as a person, as a player? Or is it that and like playing dirty, like, you know, dumping out water, putting out fire, hiding shoes, or is it just being completely selfish in the game, like willing to cut anybody at any time as long as it furthers my game? For me, it's kind of all of those things, but am I missing anything? Is there anything that you guys think would make a villain different, or anything you guys think of differently than that?
No, I honestly think you hit the nail on the head there. I mean, I was going to say it was a combination of all 3 of those for me. I think there's definitely some players on the list that are maybe more one of those than all 3, like all together, but absolutely all 3 of those things I could think could list him as a villain.
All right.
You want to kick it off, Brandon?
I'll go first. All right, well, let me move my list over so I'm not looking off into the void. So I've got first on my list is Shocker, Boston Rob, one of the Mount Rushmore Survivor contestants, easily labeled as a villain. I believe he's played 4 times. He's appeared 5 times. Been kind of labeled Godfather-esque. Kind of talked about it last week, so a little bit echoing that. But I think looking at some of the things that he's done in 2 of the seasons that he went the distance on, look at All-Stars and played with a group of players that he had known outside of the game. Had these verbal agreements with some players about how things were going to go, then got into the game and didn't hold true to any of those agreements that he made, cut people left and right, did whatever he needed to do to get himself and Amber to the end, even if it meant burning some bridges along the way. He understood that the name of the game was to get to the end. Now, I think in today's game, that doesn't work as well because how important the social element has gotten. But fast forwarding to the season that he won, Redemption Island, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it by now, I don't know. But the way that he navigated that season, he basically didn't let anybody do anything outside of his vision. If you were going to leave, you weren't going to leave alone. He implemented a buddy system. If I don't know what a buddy season is, but, and if he even felt like somebody wronged him, he was voting him out. You have somebody like Matt that got voted out pre-merge because he went and congratulated the other team for winning a challenge, and Boston Rob didn't like that. So first chance he got, he sent him to Redemption Island. And then same thing, Matt actually made it back into the game, talked to Boston Rob about potentially turning on him, and Boston Rob was like, nope, you're first out again. So just ruthless, cutthroat, putting you above, or putting your priorities over everybody else's, and just doing whatever it takes for you to get to the end, no matter what. Doesn't matter if anybody's got feelings got hurt or what. It's me getting to the end, and everybody else is just in the way.
Yeah. And I've noticed that he has to be in control. So even when he played on Traders, if he felt like he was not in control, or that somebody else was taking the reins, kind of spirals a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Very much has to be the guy calling the shots, and that's dangerous when he's willing to cut anyone at any time to advance his game. So I'm with you, Brandon. I don't know that it's the best style of gameplay for the modern era, but definitely a top villain that comes to mind, and a likable one. Like, you can't. It's hard to root against him. I know Logan Ante is not a fan of Boston Rob. I think some of that may be because of how much he played.
And I think she even said at one point, she's like, if he ever played again, I won't watch that season. I just don't like him.
Yeah. But he, is kind of the face of Survivor, and it's hard to, I don't know, it's hard to hate the guy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll go next. Kind of a little bit of a different player. Not as popular, but Russell Hantz. And Brandon, I'm going to use your knowledge here. Remind me what season he played on.
Russell Hantz, three-time player. He played Samoa, season 19, Heroes versus Villains, and then Redemption Island. So
that's right.
Three times in 4 seasons.
He was definitely one of those players that kind of is more of a dirty player rather than some of the other things on there. Obviously, I think I would say selfish, but dirty moves to, I think, Blake, you mentioned it earlier, of dumping out water, putting the fire out, hiding shoes, to
burning socks.
Yeah, burning socks. People hated him because he was finding idols with no clues, and just kind of a pest and a jerk. And yeah, I mean, if I woke up and my socks were gone, I wouldn't be very happy. But definitely, I don't think he's as popular or well known as Boston Rob, but definitely up there on, I think, top of dirty players out there, or villain-esque.
Yeah, he's like stereotypical bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, everything that we said about Boston Rob, from the standpoint of, like, I'll cut anybody at any time, have to be in control of the game, but I also want to make it miserable for the other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to give myself every possible advantage, even if it means taking others down a peg.
Yeah.
Because I'll suffer through it just, right along with them. But
Yep.
the fact that I'm the one that caused it, I'm cool. And it's just, I don't know. It's a crazy way to play.
Yeah. I think what's so interesting about Russell is he made it to the very end in back-to-back seasons and lost for the exact same reasons. Nobody respected the way he played the game. And like, he's a big example as to why the social game is so important.
Yeah.
I mean, even in his third time playing in Redemption Island, his tribe didn't want to play with him so much that they threw a challenge to vote him out.
Yeah.
So
Definitely lacked a social game, just the way he played, but kind of impressive that he got to the end in 2 seasons.
So, little bit of backstory there. So he played back-to-back seasons, 19, 20. The players in Heroes versus Villains, season 20, did not see season 19. I didn't know his game. So had they seen his game, he probably would have been out very early.
Absolutely. That's true. I didn't think about that. But still. So, what about you, Blake?
Who, in a weird way, and I don't know if you guys will agree with me, but in a weird way, Russell Hantz makes me think of Tyson. From the standpoint of, like, I may not hide your shoes and your socks, but I'm willing to suffer right along with you. And if I can kind of make the game harder for other people, like, I can handle that. And so I'm just mentally tough and physically strong. Like, I'm smart enough to, like, see what's happening and then kind of control it behind the scenes. And I don't know, Tyson for me is like, I'm out for me, and I don't care whose feelings I hurt. Like, it does not matter to me. All I'm here to do is win. And I mean, there's so many different examples, and none of them are coming to mind right now, but just times where it feels like, hey, I'm going to make this harder for everybody else just because I can, and I'm okay with it, and I'll suffer right along with them.
Because he was definitely strong, and like you said, to be able to say, hey, I can withstand that or be okay with it, and knowing other people are struggling with it, and that puts me at an advantage.
Yeah.
Smart, but brutal, and yeah.
He played in the Challenge a couple seasons ago, and obviously that being a physical thing, in some of those games you could, like, basically give disadvantages to other players and make it more difficult for them. And he was like, yeah, all day long, the weakest person I'm taking out. Like, don't even care. I'm not even going after the strongest. Let's go after the weakest person, because why not? And yeah, I don't know. He's just kind of that guy.
I like it.
Back to me.
Yep.
Back to
All right.
you.
I'm going to go with two-time winner Tony. Make an argument. Two-time. Jimmy two-time. You could make an argument that he's the king of Survivor. I'd dispute it. But anyway, that's not what this is about. Tony, I love Tony's gameplay. Tony's chaotic. He's like a fun villain. You watch him play, and he's kind of, to me, like a bull in the china shop a little bit. But he's known for the spy shack, just basically hiding in trees and bushes, just spying on people's plans and using that to his advantage. But what kind of puts him in the villain category is the way that he navigated alliances, specifically with Sarah. Lied to her off the rip about him not being a cop, even though she knew he was a cop because she's a cop. I don't know. There's some sort of telepathy there. But,
Sixth sense.
yeah. But in working with her and then betraying her, the Cops R Us Alliance.
Cops are.
Yeah. But, and then I believe he did kind of the same thing in Winners at War as well.
Yep.
So, just, I love Tony. He's like borderline villain, but he has villainous tendencies.
Yeah.
So I did want to give him a mention for that. And just, I remember how shocking and kind of devastating him turning on Sarah was.
Yeah.
He seems to thrive in the chaos, even though he's like, whoa, what's happening? But that seems to be where he just, excels.
Yeah.
So,
Good one.
yep.
Next one, I'm gonna go with Colton. Is it Cumby? Cumby?
Who cares?
Maybe the worst player to ever play the game.
Arguably the worst player, not necessarily for gameplay of like Survivor, but just the way he treated the other contestants, just belittled them, called them names, just I mean, anything and everything wasn't off the table, and it was just full on, and everybody hated him. I don't think there's a single person that would say a good thing about him.
Jeff didn't even like him.
Yeah,
Absolute jerkwad.
Yeah.
I did see in one article I was reading about that I guess after the season and down the road he'd came out and apologized and supposedly had made amends with some of the other contestants with what he'd said and all, but still just not a great dude.
Well, didn't he quit the game too, right?
So
Because he played. Did he play twice?
So he played twice, and there's this infamous rant in the second season from Jeff Probst. But in his first season, he got medically evacuated because of appendicitis. That's the story. And then he came back and played Blood versus Water and quit that season. And Jeff was like, oh, like, now you quit twice. You came into the first season, you faked appendicitis, you faked an injury, but you really quit. And now we let you come back because you wanted to fix your image because you didn't like the way that you came across in your first season. Then you came back and you did it again. And here we are. And yeah, just, yeah. I don't want to say anything that I'll regret.
Honestly, I don't want to give him more time than we need to. So
Yeah.
he not a great dude, but definitely up there on the list.
Well, earlier, Brandon, you said the king of Survivor being Tony, just 2-time winner. So I'm gonna have to go with Sandra. So the other,
The queen.
the queen. So the only other 2-time winner. So, I mean, I feel like everything that we've said for everybody else applies to Sandra, but from not necessarily a dirty player, but like I will cut anybody. And my number one alliance member, I will turn on you in a heartbeat if it propels me forward in the game. And everybody knew it, and it didn't matter. Like, I don't know.
It's amazing how some of these villains are so alike and their gameplay is fairly similar, and how well they did in early Survivor, and how much the game has changed. And I don't know, and maybe it is the new era where faster pace and the social side is so strong there, but there's no way that gameplay would fly now. And for them to do so well and there be so many of them that played that way, it's kind of, I don't know, kind of interesting to see.
I think in today's game versus back then with the 39 days versus 26 now, I think you have less time to build moves.
Mm-hmm.
So things happen obviously way quicker. So I don't know. Yeah, I think you're right, Logan. I think some of the stuff just wouldn't work out just because they don't have time to make some of the things they do work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love Sandra's gameplay because her whole mindset of, well, yeah, we can do that as long as it's not me. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah, she'd agree to anything as long as it's not her.
Yeah.
On my name, we're good.
Yep. But talk about just somebody who knows the game, and like Survivor IQ was up there.
Yep.
No.
Yep. So my third pick on the list is the original villain, Richard Hatch. Now, I'll say this with what I'm about to say. I don't think in today's standards, Richard would be considered a villain.
Correct.
Borneo was the first season. So, what you doing?
Popping my chest.
So he kind of laid the blueprint and was the architect for how Survivor was played for a very long time. He was doing a lot of the scheming and building and really controlling how Survivor Borneo went, and was one of the first people to talk about forming an alliance and working together to get to the end. And then you had the Toggy tribe, which Richard was on, took out the Pagong tribe at the merge, basically just one by one, just in kind of a ruthless way. And yeah, got coined as the original villain. And it's cool. Like, it has to be cool for him to be like, yeah, I was responsible for, and I know the other players on that season were responsible for how the game, like, for Kelly Wigglesworth, Suhawk, Rudy, like, all of them contributed. But just to be like, yeah, I showed people how to play this game that's now been going for 25 years and is on its 50th season.
Yeah. Definitely.
Andy's a villain in real life because didn't pay his taxes.
Yep. Whoops.
Yeah. He definitely set the groundwork, because there was nobody else really in that season that was even considering kind of alliances or laying the groundwork there. It's pretty impressive how different he was and how much he did lay that groundwork, because there was nobody there that was doing that.
Yeah, just the 4 names that I mentioned, but the other tribe, if you go back and watch it, they're so unserious. Like, they're just like, we're having a good time. We don't really
just
care
hanging
what
out.
happens. They're not putting any strategy into anything.
Well, if you think about it, how much of, like, would Survivor have lasted as long as it has if Richard wasn't on there and they didn't play that way? Like, if everybody was the same way as the other tribe there, just not serious, we're here for a good time, let's see who wins. Like, would Survivor have made it past season 10?
I don't know.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of cool to think about.
Yep.
All right. For my last one, comes from a season that isn't super memorable. Maybe one of the worst seasons in Survivor. Brian Heidick. Kind of known for being fairly cocky and just sure of himself. If I remember correctly, I think he was a car salesman.
Oh, and he looked like it,
and
too.
he did. And he, I mean, he was definitely a smooth talker, able to kind of talk through people and talk around people, just in circles, and was honestly just so cocky of like, I've got it, and knowing it. I don't know. He was just kind of a different player that was, I don't know, kind of cool to see, but also just there's not a ton of other players that were that sure of themselves. But I think that kind of comes from that sales side of things. I mean, some people that are in sales and stuff have to have that cockiness to them, but there wasn't a ton of people that liked him for some of that. But
yeah, I'm gonna be really honest. I don't even remember him. That season, I don't really remember much of at all.
Wasn't a great one, but
I think everyone tries to forget that season. I think if you go and ask 10 people what's the worst season of Survivor of all time, save Island of the Idols, they'd probably tell you Thailand is. So,
yeah.
Blake?
Nice. Last for me, but certainly not least, the guy that sold out his own grandmother, Johnny Fairplay. So, I mean, that one move alone, so for those of you that may or may not remember, it was where family came to visit, and it was like his cousin showed up, and he asked him, "And how's grandma doing?" And he's like, "Oh, man, I'm sorry to tell you she didn't make it." And ended up taking his cousin on the reward back to camp. Like, people basically gave it to him.
Yep.
And then turns out grandma's sitting at home smoking cigarettes. Like, she's watching
Jerry
Springer,
Springer, right?
Jerry
Like, you
Springer.
so, I mean, everything else about his gameplay, fairly forgettable, but that one move alone is like, dang, if you're willing to throw grandma under the bus, hey, that's a villain in my book.
Yep.
And I think he
And
was even,
grandma's probably sitting there thinking, heck yeah, use me like that. Get further in the game.
I want to say if I remember correctly, in the like after show, he was asked about it, if he regretted it or like what his grandma had to say, and I think he was like, "No, like fair play."
No pun intended. All right.
But
Yeah, that's good. Well, we got to narrow it down to 5 now.
Oof.
I'll go first and I'll just remove one from my list. I think Brian is an easy one, being a forgettable season. We'll just take him off there. So there's one off of it.
I like that. That's fair enough. If I could find my list, I'm doing a great job staying organized today.
You got Boston Rob, Tony, and Richard Hatch.
Yeah, I will say Tony's a fringe villain.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if we dropped him, I could accept that.
I could be okay with that as well. I think definitely a nice one to have on the list, but not top of the line. I mean, top of the list villain. So
Yeah.
okay, Blake, what about you? If you had to remove one from your list, let's all just remove one.
You got a solid list.
I know.
You do.
So right now I'm between Sandra and Johnny.
If it were me, I think it would be Johnny that you would take off. I think, yes, that one move was fantastic, but I think Sandra has more of a portfolio or a more to her game that's villain-esque.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Yeah. No, and I don't disagree.
But you do you.
Sandra's just a better player. And is that why I think of her more of a villain? Because she played more? I mean, one move to make you like one of the most recognizable villains in Survivor history is pretty impressive. But I don't know.
I think with Sandra, I mean, her whole thing is, like I said, as long as it's not me, I think she's a great player. I will say, when I think of Survivor villains, she doesn't come up first in my head.
Yeah.
I do think of moments, villainous moments, and I don't know, other than just the way she played, I can't think of a villain defining moment for Sandra where I'm like, yes.
That's true.
Where Johnny Fairplay, everybody thinks of the grandma moment
Yeah.
of Johnny Fairplay. Like,
Yeah. As soon as you say his name,
Yeah.
That's true.
That's him.
You've convinced me.
All right. I'll cut the queen.
King and Queen gone.
So here's where we got to fight. Who is the sucker that loses the last person?
Yeah, this is where it gets tough. Great list of players. So who's left on the list? Logan has Russell and Colton, and then Boston Rob, Richard Hatch, Johnny Fairplay, and Tyson. So 6 great names left, honestly.
I want to cut Colton just because he sucks, but that's that's the exact reason that we should probably keep him.
I
right?
know.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about that because when Logan was like, I'll cut, I thought he was going to say Colton, but then he said Brian. And I was like, actually, that makes way more sense because I do feel like we're almost obligated for the reasons you just said.
Yeah.
He's so awful. Like, people will remember him and just go, oh, hate that guy.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. In my opinion, it's hard to. I want to say Richard Hatch, but I also don't want to because he's original. But compared to the others on this list, I just don't know if he's as villain-esque.
I was gonna say the same thing. I mean, he's the OG, kind of wrote the rule book for being a villain, but
yeah. Well, they're
comparing them.
Yeah, no, I actually would agree with you. I'm not really going to push that hard on that because I do think, yeah, he's the original villain. Like I said earlier, I don't know in today's standards if he's really a villain, but there's been so many more polarizing figures that have come after him that I would put higher on if I was going to rank villains.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So it's honestly a really good top 5, in no particular order. We have Russell Hantz, Colton, Boston Rob, Johnny Fairplay, and Tyson.
Yeah. It's a good list. There's definitely some runners up that we can, some honorable mentions. I don't know why I didn't think about this until just now, and I don't know that he would be in my top 5 or even like top 10. But wasn't it Russell's nephew that played?
Oh gosh, yeah, Brandon
Yes.
Hantz.
Brandon, yeah. Didn't
He was.
Did he just get into a bunch of trouble?
I'm pretty sure he got arrested for. I don't know what the details are, but yeah, he got arrested for something recently. But it's so tough with villains because people label players as villains. Like we before the show, I was gonna put Parvati on my list as somebody to pitch, but I'm thinking about her game. She's one of the greatest players ever.
Yeah.
But I'm like, is she a villain? I know she got put on the villains tribe, but when you think of heroes versus villains, I kind of use that loosely. I'm just like, is she really a villain? Like, yeah, she was. You look at her gameplay in the season she won, maybe, but I'm like, I don't know.
See, yeah, to me, I kind of put her in the same category as Tony, where it's like kind of a villain, but more just manipulative and being
Just a
able to
great player.
use
Yeah.
like her social skills to get people to do what she wants them to do. Like same level as a Russell Hantz villain? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and that's where like
If we want to talk about Survivor like greats, yeah, I'd put her in the top 5.
yeah.
But
Maybe that's coming.
yeah, maybe. Hey, you heard it here first.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I don't know
that's
where
a
else you would hear it.
Solid. So Russell Hantz, Colton, Boston Rob, Johnny Fairplay, and Tyson. Top 5 villains, in our opinion. So you can disagree with us, and
Please do.
I would love to hear your arguments why. And then we can be sure to tell you why you're wrong. But feel free to email us or comment, any of that stuff. Shoot us a fax if you want. We don't have a fax machine, but you can try it.
Yeah, we do.
We'll take it any way you send it.
It's 2025. I don't. Yeah. I don't even know how to do that.
Send us a pigeon.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Follow us on socials, email, all of that stuff will be down at the in the notes. And
There's gonna be a graphic that pops up there.
on the screen. So, yeah. Hey. All right. Well, we will be back next week. So thank you guys for tuning in. And that's all I got. Go ahead and say goodbye, Logan.
Goodbye, Logan.